guys, my name's Joe and welcome to Fighting Words, the martial arts library. This is a segment I call Media Fight Monday, where I take a fight scene from movies, television, animation, and so on, and I break down the action and then grade it based on realism and storytelling value. This week I'm breaking down a fight scene from the television series Kung Fu, which stars David Carradine as Caine, who features in this fight. This is from the season 2 episode The Assassin, which is from 1973. As far as the background to the scene goes, it's a bit convoluted. There are two families fighting. One of them has an assassin. The assassin happens to be a ninja, a Japanese ninja assassin in the American Old West, who's fighting Caine, a Shaolin monk. So this is Shaolin versus Ninja. I think there's at least one movie by that title. It probably has sequels. Man playing the ninja is Robert Ito. He is best known for his roles on Quincy. As far as his martial arts background goes, I couldn't find anything. With that being said, he actually began his career in dance, and I think that having a background in dance is pretty good for transitioning into things like martial arts. You know, the dancers are used to seeing performances and imitating them. His character is known as Smith because he's disguised as a blacksmith with a limp. A guy with a limp, there's no way he could be an acrobatic assassin. And I'm sort of wondering if the limp is also meant to sort of be a nod to the Greek god Hephaestus, although it's possible I'm looking too deep into that. The choreographer for this was David Chow, whose background was actually in judo, and in light of that, you're going to see perhaps more grappling than you might expect from a kung fu versus ninja fight from the 1970s. I'm actually going to let this lead in a little. Yep, so here we are, just walking down the middle of the road in the middle of the day. You got a dirt road, you got mountains and forests and stuff, and here is the ninja disguised in his all black garb, which is surely designed to blend into this forested background. And the ninja begins with throwing stars, which Caine is avoiding. We found out earlier in the show that the stars are tipped with poison, so he needs to avoid them. Now we see the ninja pull out his sword. Looks like it's a little short for being a katana. And Caine is avoiding. He picks up a big log. Okay. I am doubtful that unless it was very rotten and hollow, that he could have cut through a log that thick. But as we see here, his sword is getting stuck in the center of it, which is not impossible. It's, after all, a sword, not an axe, and even axes get stuck. Kick to the gut, sweep to the leg, and he wisely throws it away. We saw the ninja pull out a tanto, or a short dagger, before getting kicked in the face with a jump kick. And we see the ninja using a reverse grip, which I don't think would be very utilitarian for this situation, especially since he's got it to the rear. Caine knows he's armed. You know, I mean, he didn't exactly disguise pulling the blade out. That would generally be why you would use that sort of grip. He is robbing himself of some extra length that he could get with the blade. Caine is also displaying a fighting stance that I wouldn't consider particularly practical. I like the one hand up by the face, but the other one that's outstretched. You can't really do anything with that arm. You know, you could sort of stiff arm a guy or maybe deflect things a little bit, but you can't really get any effective strikes with it. It's not particularly useful. Caine dodges and gets a back elbow to the body. Ninja does switch his grip, finally starts leading with it, thrusts with it, and Caine gets an armbar and is able to make him let go of the knife. And that could be very damaging to the elbow. It has potential to be damaging. Ninja reaches over his neck. Not bad. I think I would have gone higher on the head to try to off balance him, since mostly you need to get your arm free. Yeah. And Caine goes for a throw. Now we get a bunch of double chops and double palm strikes. Some kicks that are deflected. Again, that's if you're hitting with both hands at the same time. I'm not going to say that it doesn't have any sort of utility. It is very difficult to get optimum power because the way human beings are designed, we get power by going left and right and left and right. I mean, think about someone, if someone's going for shot put, if they're trying to move a heavy object, they're going to do it with one hand. If they're pitching, if they're throwing darts or knives or anything, they're going to be doing it with one hand and using the rotation of the body to generate power. There's not a whole lot of rotation. You can get sort of like dropping power if you're using both hands, something similar to maybe a medicine ball slam. But that doesn't really take advantage of the design of the human body very well. So the ninja gets a shoulder throw, Caine counters. Oh, ninja hits his head on a rock, and that's the fight. Okay, as far as realism goes, and it's tempting to take off points for the ninja being dressed all in black in the middle of the day in a forested area, just walking down the middle of the road. But that's not technically part of the fight, so I'm not going to count off for that. I like the fact that he was utilizing weapons. That unfortunately didn't give him much of an advantage here, but generally, if you are in a fight to the death, you want to be armed and be optimally better armed than the other guy. Some of the strikes and deflections were pretty decent. I, again, strongly dislike like the double chops and thrusts and stuff. I'm not going to say that there are not times and places where you would want to use those, but again, they don't really optimize power. They don't really take advantage, especially if they're sort of coming in sync with one another. You're not throwing something straight and something curved at the same time, which might throw off someone's deflection. It's relatively predictable and underpowered. I don't like it. The arm lock was good. I think it could have been a little bit better if there had been some acknowledgement that, like, ow, you hyperextended my elbow. The throws were okay. The ending of the fight, getting thrown head first into a rock, at the very least, that could cause a concussion. They're selling it like a death blow, like a skull fracture, which is a possibility. I don't know if it would be that instantaneous. It might not. I mean, they weren't doing anything like magical like you see with like wire work and stuff, but I'm only going to give it a D for realism because a lot of the stuff they were doing was just no. As far as storytelling goes, I think that that's a little bit better. We see the ninja beginning with the throwing star, going from long range weapons to shorter range weapons. The throwing stars are a callback to things that have happened earlier in the episode, and the danger of them has been established from previously. I think there are a few bad cuts there that don't really allow us to see some of the action. Caine is mostly on the defensive, but still mostly coming out of the exchanges pretty well. And storytelling wise, Caine is not the one who really delivers the death blow, which sort of keeps him from being seen as a bad guy killer type, especially for a series in the 1970s. He wasn't directly responsible for the ninja's death. It was an accident. So he sort of gets to save his pure good guy status because of how the fight ended. I'm gonna give it a C+. There wasn't a whole lot going on, but they did a couple of things pretty well, I thought. Anyway, that's all I have for this week. Thank you guys for following along. Media Fight Monday is the first and third Monday of every month. If you'd like to help support the channel, please consider donating to my Ko-fi account. There's going to be a link in the description. You can also request a video through my Ko-fi account. So if there's a fight scene you want me to get to, please consider donating through that, and it'll get my attention, and I'll check it out. That's all I have. Thanks again for following, and I'll see you later.